Cause if it's not love, then it's worthless to pull me right back. Slip in my eye and I'm wordless. You don't understand. Cause if it's not love, then it's worthless to pull me right back.
Going into edutech. Edutech, let's read. 21st century education for all in the Philippines. We are one of the exhibitors. This is I partly own Rodin, tiny part. My friends Rodin, Junie, they're the major owners, but I own a little part. They invited me to own, so invested a bit here. It's a software company, and it produces cutting edge, amazing software for schools from like whatever department, and from curriculum to registration to enrollment to communication with parents. It's the whole shebang. It's a glorious software. So anyway, let's go in.
You don't understand my love.
This is Marie Templo. She heads Rodin. She's the main man.
The technology head.
The technology
of product
head.
development.
So which is basically what Rodin is all about. And you pronounce, it's not the spelling, it's not the way you pronounce it. So, so I want Marie to be the one to tell you what the product is about. This is a breakthrough product. This is just cutting edge stuff, and schools will be amazed when they go ahead.
Okay, all right. So what's Rodin? So we wanted to take away the aches and pains of classroom management, or in general school management. Remove all of the paperwork, which is taller than you at the end of the school year, right? We wanted to be able to gain operational efficiency for the school as a business, and give information accessibility with ease to everyone within the learning community. So that includes the school administrators, the teachers, the students, and also the parents. Rodin gives them instant accessibility to the performance of their kids. They're notified, regarding the grades if they have upcoming exams. That way they can review ahead of time. The teachers no longer have to have mounds and mounds of paper, to check.
Everything will be online, digital, automated.
Everything is automated. We can containerize the digital content. So
That's the picture I have of teachers now.
Yeah.
Teachers are like in front of their desks, and in Tagalog, nakasubsub.
Yeah.
So, paperwork higher than that's true. It's like reams and reams of paper, and you're gonna remove that.
Yes, because they also need quality time for themselves,
Yes,
diba? Because they
absolutely.
already gave so much of
they're
themselves
giving
to
too
the
much.
profession,
They're giving
and
too much.
they also deserve to go home when there's still sunlight.
Yes,
That way they
yes.
can have that work-life balance
Wow,
as well.
wow.
So, like the checking of exams for one class of 50 takes hours and hours.
Yes.
Okay. Now with Rodin, the question bank is on the system itself. The answer keys are there, and
Wow.
once you upload the exams, it's automatically checked by the system, and the grades also go into the students' records
Yes.
automatically.
You're helping teachers. You're helping the administrators. What else?
You're helping the parents.
You're helping the parents.
Yes, because every single time they want to check on their kids, even if they are in a remote area. Okay, so this is going to be a big plus for OFWs.
OFWs.
Exactly.
Okay.
We
That's
could do
right.
video conferencing tutorials through Rodin. They want to check on what homeworks do they have. They could be somewhere half around the globe,
Yes,
and
yes.
they know how their kids are
Wow,
performing. Okay, we provide a facility for them to engage with their kids and
Yeah.
actually do the teaching
Yeah.
from a remote location, something that you're unable to do
This-
as an OFW.
This is
Okay?
crazy. This is an amazing product that will bless the whole school.
Yep. Exactly.
Wow. There's more stuff, by the way.
Yes.
The Rodin software is just how many modules did you say?
It's a total of 9 modules, LMS and school administration modules.
LMS means?
Learning management system.
Okay.
These are the classroom processes which we automate.
Yeah.
And the school management platform is the one that automates the business side of the
Okay.
school.
All right.
Okay?
If they want to know more about it, Marie, what should they do?
Okay, www.rodinsystems.com, or you can actually see our product videos which are also on the site, or contact us and we'll be happy to give you a product demonstration. Okay,
Rodin, www.rodin, okay, and .com.
Rodin Systems.
Rodin Systems, RODIN systems.com.
Yes.
So that's where you are. Full disclosure, guys, I own a tiny part, tiny part of this company. So I just want to disclose that. But I believe in the service. I believe in the product, and I believe anything that will make schools perform better for the sake of the children. I'm there. I'm into that. I'm a homeschool promoter, believer, crusader, and so doing this, it's not just for homeschools, by the way, but it's definitely for regular schools.
Yes.
Taking out a bunch of that clerical administrative workload so that education becomes better. Your focus is there. So thank you, Marie.
Okay, thanks. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
This is Ronnie. He is my friend, and he was the one who invited me to be part of Rodin. Now, where did this come from? Why did you come up with this crazy idea?
About 5 years back, there was this huge issue with textbooks in the public schools. There was a certain educator, a doctor, something, I don't remember his name at the top of my head right now. He went to the press and started talking about all of the textbook errors, thousands of them. And in the reply,
I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that. It was a big thing.
big thing. In the reply from the DepEd, they said that it'll take them 5 years to address all of these errors because they needed to wait for the reprint of the books.
Okay, 5 years to live
5 years.
to live with those thousands of errors.
In the meantime, 5 batches of students would have been fed all of those errors, all of those garbage.
That's right. That's right.
So that's very sad. So I told
Wow.
myself, this couldn't be the case.
Yeah.
This shouldn't be the case.
Yeah.
I was telling myself, what can I do?
Yeah.
I'm not into education. I've always wanted to be an educator, but I'm not into education.
Yeah.
And I go, but I know a little bit about IT, information technology.
That's his world. That's Ronnie's world from the very beginning. IT, cell phone, stuff like that. And wow.
I know a little bit of that, so I told myself, why don't I put together a team to do that? And then I started talking to certain people about it, and then they told me, you're not going to make money there. And I go, it's a means of paying forward, I told myself.
Yeah.
So I spoke with my family and told my wife, I'm going to do this. And Junie was there, who was also getting into...
One of our friends.
One of our
business
Yes.
mentors.
Junie was there, who was also into education.
Yep.
And he was doing also LMS. And then we started talking. He started confiding with me his problems. I didn't know that he was into it. It was only when he was already having problems with an Indian LMS provider that we realized that he was also into education. And then we started working together. So I told him, you know what? I'm going to build this system anyway.
Wow.
So let's build it together. 3 years after, we now have Rodin.
Ronnie's favorite word, always to me, is nation building. This is an entrepreneur whose focus is not money as the ultimate goal of business. He really believes in nation building. So Rodin software helping schools. It's all about building the nation. That's the reason. That's the one reason. That's his selling point to me. Bo, come in, join us, because we're gonna build the nation. Woo! How can you say no to something like that? Especially when it comes from a friend that you trust. So there.
Yes. So it's really about that. And then when we started doing and working on the system, I was able to put together a world-class team headed by Marie. Marie happens to be a graduate of NYU. She's a robotics engineer from NYU. Did masters in computer science in NYU, and then eventually went on to become a doctor of computational finance. She headed regional office for Accenture.
Wow.
Yeah. Headed 6 countries.
Headed 6 countries. Okay.
3,000 people under her.
Okay, how were you able to convince Marie to work for Rodin, a tiny company that's still, starting?
I shared the vision
You share the vision.
of educating the nation. It was really that. I just shared the vision. This is what I want to do. This is my dream. I want to help the country. I want to help the government educate the nation properly, the next generation properly. That was really the intent. I don't know how, I don't know why. She took practically a 90% pay cut.
90% pay cut.
A 90% pay cut. So
Crazy.
she's still with us 3 years after.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. This guy's a salesman, but a salesman of a vision. He sold Marie. He said, work for me, take a 90% pay cut, but you're going to do something for the country. So for the past 3 years, Marie, Ronnie, Rodin, will continue.
And Junie.
And Junie
Toreja.
And Junie Toreja, our dear friend. We're going to change the country. We're going to change the country one step at a time.
One step at a time.
And we're
One
going to
school
start
at a time.
one school at a time in education. Thank you, Ronnie.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, hey.
Thank you, bro.
That's it.
All right. Let's go inside. A lot of people want to see.
How are you guys? Thank you for joining us today. Really appreciate it. Just wanted to share with you why I do what I do and why I'm part of Rodin. Number one, because of my friend there, Ronnie Siasoyko. He's the guy. And together with another friend, Junie Toreja, I've always been very interested in education. I homeschool my kids. So it's from a you might say, from a different field, not in the traditional schooling. But I have a passion for educating my sons. I have 2 boys. One of them is 17 and the other is 11. And I've seen how important education is. And so looking at that, today Ronnie told me some time ago, he said, Bo, I'm into this. Automating, helping schools become better schools, bringing them into the technology and the digitalization that's necessary for making schools better. And I believe this is not the future. Giving students an unfair advantage to technology. I believe this is not the future. I believe this is now. This is what's happening. Our kids, they live in the internet. The first thing they pick up is the phone. The last thing they hold before they sleep is the phone. They live there. And I believe that we can complain about it. We can say, they're not talking to each other anymore. Look at the families, they're just holding their phones, their heads are focused on a tiny, tiny screen. You can complain all you want, but guess what? That's reality. And it will not disappear. It's not a fad. People say, oh, we've reached the peak. You know what? Complain all you want. It's going to get bigger and stronger and faster. Later on, it will be VR, virtual reality. People will be putting contact lenses on their eyes, and all of a sudden, 99% of their feeling, their sight, their hearing will all be in a different world. You don't have to go anywhere. You can say, I want to go to Paris, and boom, you're in Paris. And that's going to be the world that we'll be having 15, 20 years from now. What am I saying? I'm saying you can complain all you want, but you know what? That's reality. So instead of complaining, let's embrace it and use it for the education of our kids. Once upon a time, we had print media. Once upon a time, magazines ruled the world. Once upon a time, books ruled the world. And then radio came along. And so, once upon a time, before radio was there, in the 1940s, before that, what was the center of a house? Guess what? The newspaper. The newspaper was the center of the house. The moment the newspaper came in, the whole whole family, everyone wanted to read. And then the radio came in. And some of you, no, none of you, lived during that time. When you enter the living room and you enter the dining room, the radio was the center of the house. And it was huge. It was really big. And then in the 1960s, what happened? TV comes along. And guess what? There were holdouts. You know what are holdouts? We don't like the TV, we want the radio. And they complained about the TV and they were saying that's a fad. There were people who said TV was a fad. And they embraced the radio and they said this is what we complain with something that we don't understand. We always complain and criticize and we're afraid of anything that's unfamiliar to us. Am I making sense to you? People will always be afraid of what you're not familiar with. So, is there still radio today? Yes, but is it still the center of the house? No, it's the TV. But do you know what? You ask your kids and you ask your students, do they still watch TV? My sons don't. 17, 11 years, they don't watch TV anymore. What's their TV? You're holding it in your bags. It's the cell phone. It's the tablet. That's it. That's the TV now. TV is gone. And you're going to see TV go down. Somebody was selling me an entire channel with congressional license of a TV channel worth 500 million pesos. Selling it to me. Will I buy it? No. Why? It's going down. If they sell it for me for 1 million, okay, I'll buy it. But it's going down. It's disappearing. What you're holding, the phone, the tablet, that's what's going to happen now. And so what Rodin does is we're gonna embrace that. And we're going to make that the educational tool, the primary educational tool. Let's not complain. Let's find a way to utilize what's happening in reality and helping our kids grow up. And we're very, very excited. The reason why I'm here standing in front of you, because Ronnie Siasoico, the guy who headed this, who spearheaded this, he told me, Bo, this is not about money. I don't know if we're going to earn money here, but this will change the country. So many public schools, so many private schools, they're behind. They're being left behind by the whole world. The whole world is moving in this direction, and schools are just, hello, we're all left behind. So we're doing this to change the country. We're doing this to bring forward the Philippines. So I'm excited. I hope you are too. And thank you so much for listening to me.
Brother Bo Sanchez, everybody.
You just update me.
I will. Okay. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you so much. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
If it's not love, then it's worthless to pull me right back. Slip in my eye and I'm wordless. You don't understand. Cause if it's not love, then it's worthless to pull me right back. Slip in my eye and I'm wordless. You don't understand. You don't understand my love.
Thanks, brother. Thank you. God bless. God bless. Ingat ha. Ingat.
Look at that. Building. How many millions to build a building? Our minds are so focused on location because that's our world. But the world that we live in now goes beyond location. What am I saying? I'm saying I lead a feast and it's in PICC and we're renting that place and we spend a lot of money. So a lot of people tell me, Bo, why don't you just build something? Build a place where your 12,000 to 15,000 people can gather there, and then you don't have to rent. And so we computed, just to build the building itself, 300 million pesos. Now, can I raise funds for 300 million? If I try hard enough, and if we take a certain amount of time and push, and that's the only thing I do, probably. But that's only the building. I have to either long-term lease for the land or buy the property, and Think about that. How many millions more? Building plus land. But, and then the maintenance. To build, to buy the property, after a huge amount of effort, you can raise the amount of money. But maintaining the building, long term. Here's what I'm thinking. I still think it is we're so fixated on location. That's why my heart now is into spreading, building smaller feasts, and even feast videos that can be done at home, and raise up, we call them feast emissaries, people who will raise their hand and say, I want to build a feast in my office, or in my home, or in my neighborhood, or in my school. 5 people, 10 people. And then they can watch a video if they don't know how to preach. If they know how to preach, we're gonna put material in their hands. But usually these people, they say, no, can you be the one to preach? So we'll preach through video. And then they will share, and they will pray for one another. That's their role. They become a shepherd to these people. And that excites me. All of a sudden, I don't have to buy a building, build a building, buy property, and it's not going to be about money. The whole organization is not centered on raising this huge amount of money and having money to maintain every single month, all the expenses. All of a sudden, the focus of all the leaders is on shepherding people, caring for people, and that's what I'm saying, because we have technology. Technology should be something that you embrace. Now, that's in the spiritual work, that's in ministry side, that's in church work. And education is the same thing. To be able to go beyond location and to be able to think in another way, to be able to say, what if we utilize technology, the internet, and digitalize all sorts of educational material, and be able to bring it to the islands. That's the problem. We've got 7,000 islands in the Philippines. To be able to use that, and sure, you might say, oh, but we don't have good internet and all of that. But I believe that's coming. That's coming. Google, as we speak now, as you're listening to this, Google is already creating planes and planes that will give free internet, high-speed internet, and they'll fly these planes. There are companies now that are just so bent on blanketing the world with free internet. It's gonna happen one day. So let's create the tools necessary so that when that happens, we're ready, and then we can educate the world. So that's how I think, that's how my friends think, and I just want to encourage you. You know, what has this got to do with you? I think it's to think beyond your needs, to think beyond your little problems, because you've got problems, you've got needs of your own. Just step away from that for a while, forget those little problems, focus on the gifts that you have, think what you can do beyond your little problems so that you can address the real needs of people. Because when you're able to address the real needs of people, then you wake up in the morning with joy and excitement, and knowing that you're able to serve God. So what's your mission? Go for it. And think, this is a cliche, right? A cliche, you think outside the box. But hey, that's what we need to do.
I'm giving everything I got. God knows I know it's not a lie. I'm headed somewhere, but I don't know where just yet. I've still got something left to prove. Prove that there's nothing I won't do. Do what it takes so I can bring you back again. All my life, you're the one thing that's always been